Hello and welcome to another episode of Mad Dialogue with me, Michelle.
And me, Skylar.
I hope everybody is doing really, really well. Before we get going, I would like to say welcome to our new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining the Mad family. We are so happy to have you. And I'm giving another shout out to at Frostins, at frost.co.uk. I'm so terrible. I'm going to link it in the description, but I'm giving a shout out for this wonderful wall frosting. If you're interested, the link will be in the description and you can find him on TikTok. So this week, Skylar is taking the lead. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Skylar.
Hello, everybody. So I was just scrolling through Instagram, as you do the other day, and I came across this post that's from the page Oddly Horrifying. That basically, this is about something that happened in 2021, but this terminally ill mother killed her disabled son, fearing no one would care for him. So in October 2021, Shirley Nunn, a 67-year-old woman in Middlesbrough, killed her 50-year-old son Stephen before taking her own life. Stephen had lived with severe disabilities since childhood after a brain injury at age 11, which left him fully dependent on his mother for care due to conditions including cerebral palsy, epilepsy, and significant cognitive and mobility impairments. After Shirley was diagnosed with terminal stage 3 lung cancer that had spread to multiple parts of her body, she became overwhelmed by fear and depression over what would happen to her son once she was gone. A later review found that healthcare services failed to properly assess her mental health or put a support plan in place for Stephen's future care, leaving her feeling there was no safe options for him. So she killed him.
That's basically so sad.
And then herself. And I just think, when I came across it, obviously it caught my eye because of the headline, but I just think it's such a sad, situation, because it's bless her, she felt so helpless to the point that was her only option.
No other option, yeah.
You know what I mean? To kill her son and then herself, which, because of how much, she care for him, that was the last thing she'd want to do. You know what I mean?
I hear that.
And also you could tell as well that she was a young mum. Obviously she was 67, he was 50. So she would have had him when she was 17 years old. So
wow.
When you think, so then she would have been 28 when he became completely disabled dependent on her at the age of 11. And I just think, bless her, we don't know anything about this woman's life, but from that alone, that would have been a struggle. You know what I mean?
That was desperation. She felt like she had no other option. And as a mother, I can totally relate, because obviously there was a period of time when my health was really bad, and I remember taking Israel to one side and saying to him, there's financial support. Anything happens to me, make sure you take care of your siblings, which I realized that that's a burden that I was placing on him, but I had no other alternative in the respects of, when I'm not here, who's going to love my children the way that I do? And I found it interesting that it was in 2021, which was after COVID. And so probably during that period of lockdown, she probably realized how little support she actually had. And so then to be diagnosed with a terminal illness and see no other recourse other than to do that. But to me, that in her mind, and I'm just going to say it as a mother, that's an act of love, because she's thinking, well, who's going to look after him when I'm not here? And
it's not like she just killed him and just went about her business.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? She killed herself. You know what I mean?
And she figured then we'll be together in death as well. Because you know how people
perceive that. But I just think, it breaks my heart. And to be fair, I haven't seen anybody, so to speak, coming for the woman, because I think they'd be out of their mind if they did.
I think as well, because people could if people put themselves in a position, they can understand why she did what she did. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, it's not like these people that kill their children, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? She'd looked after him obviously it's her son, because of course she's going to look after him. But the point I'm making is he became disabled from the age of 11 and she looked after him until the age of 50. Do you know what I'm saying? And just the same way you said that she received little support from medical professionals, it also tells me that she had little support while she was looking after her son.
Definitely.
And getting older as well, she would have already been feeling the pressure of it. Like, I could imagine me trying to lift up Israel or Neo right now.
imagine?
Even Ernie, do you know what I'm
imagine,
saying? And he's 15. So like a 50-year-old man that can't do for himself.
Yeah.
And her as a woman, when, you know,
and she's
by rights, he should be picking her up.
Exactly,
do you know what I'm saying?
Like, you know, like 67. Obviously, she's not old, but
no,
you know what I
but
mean? Like,
that would have been a struggle for her.
Like,
and obviously, for her to take that action, I mean, maybe she did have family, maybe she didn't.
But I doubt it. I feel like to do something like that, like, it just doesn't seem like
she had
a support system at
all.
And it breaks my heart, because you know that she wouldn't have wanted it to come to that, you know what I mean? And then it just makes me think about like how much struggle she was just going through with herself, and for how long, because you know what I mean? That's not something you just wake up and you just like make that decision overnight that, hey, I'm gonna
I feel
this,
like,
I mean? Like,
I agree with you. I feel like the woman was struggling from for a good while, and the diagnosis was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak.
And considering as well, it does surprise me though, because the NHS will give this thing that they're, what's the word, like they're there to support
was
people.
it in Britain?
Yeah.
Are you for real?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I'm pretty sure. I could, you know, I could be wrong.
Wow.
Actually, I could be wrong, but it looked like it was. Yeah, it was in England. Yeah, in Middlesbrough. But they give off this thing that with especially elderly people, that there's this mental health support for them. You know what I mean? There's communities for them. There's people to talk to. But the fact that she didn't receive any mental health support after her diagnosis, and anyways, just as a carer, there's groups and stuff like that. Like, there should have been support for her, just based on her circumstances. And I think,
and then the excuse will come that the NHS is underfunded and overworked and so on and so forth, which for me, I see a lot of people going into this kind of profession where they can help people. And I just feel that some of them, not all of them, but you know, Ernie's gone to the hospital, and the nurse that was looking after him, if you can call it that, put so much wrong information on his medical notes. He was referring to him as a girl for starters, because Ernie had his long hair, where he was saying the incident didn't happen where it happened. So, you know, they're not,
I was even in the system.
There you go again. Do you know what I mean? You could have gone underground.
Yeah, and I always think that.
Well, yeah, actually, you're the last person I could see going underground without resources. But anyway, that's a whole nother episode. But yeah, so I do think that they're very lax in the way how they give medical help.
Yes, definitely.
To people. Like, there's been so many documentaries that I've seen, whether it would be in care homes or in mental institutes or whatever, where they are not treated very well at all. Do you know what I mean? I mean, where is it, Roxanne? St. Andrews. Yeah, that's been closed down because of...
And they're being taken over by the NHS now.
Right, great. Because of the lack of proper care. There were so much things that were happening in that situation. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all that poor woman took the course of action that she took. It's sad, however, it really is. I really hope, it probably won't, but I hope that it makes the medical services actually check things and try and do better in the future to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Do you know what I mean?
Both of them could have still been alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying, till now, obviously, because she had her stage 3 cancer, but still, like, it didn't have to end up like that.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, it's so heartbreaking. And I do wonder, like, just like, because I never understand, and maybe this is a bit small-minded of me, like, I can understand why in some situations, but how people don't have, like, any family around them, you know what I mean? And because that's obviously because I have such a big family and we're such like a close knit and we're always there for each other.
Oh no, but
it's insane to me that there's people out there who have no family, and it just breaks my heart.
I remember years ago when I was a little girl and we lived in town, and there was an old lady that lived in the flats opposite my house, and there was like a playground in between. So like I'd see her from time to time, and we'd stop and we'd have conversations and whatnot. And Christmas was coming up, and she asked me what I was doing for Christmas. So I'm explaining to her, because like you say, it's a big family. So I'm seeing a lot of family over Christmas, and basically I'm not on my own. And I asked her what she was doing. Oh, she was even asking me what I was having that day for Christmas dinner. And so I, asked her the same thing. And she said that she didn't have anybody, so she would be spending it alone. And I distinctly remember her saying, bless her, she was going to have a poached egg on toast, and it made me so sad that I went home and asked my mum if she could spend Christmas Day with us. So it does happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It does happen.
But this is why community, just as a whole, needs to be better as well. You know what I mean? Because you as a child, you were there talking to the women and all of that to even know. But
that's why I check on Tom. I check on Tom. I'll ask him if he wants anything from the shop as I'm on my way down. Do you know what I mean? I do. I'm not up in people's business, because that's not me. Do you know what I'm saying? But you're there. Like, if you need anything, don't hesitate.
No, most definitely.
To knock the door and let me know.
It doesn't take much to reach out. You know what
not
I mean?
at all.
And I just wish, like, our country, like, there's countries that do so much better with how they take care of their elderly. You know what I mean? To the point where those people, like in China, you'll see some of them live till they're like 100 and something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they're so well taken care of. And I just think that's something that needs to be, done all over. Because okay, there's good and bad in all, but you can't argue that's, if it weren't for all of them and stuff they did, a lot of stuff wouldn't be here now. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see why people don't want to take care of old people. Like, I feel for them, man. I
hear that. I hear that.
Shit like that happens.
So basically what we're saying is if you have an elderly neighbor, please check on them if you know that they don't have anybody to check on them.
And even if they do, just check on them. Just go see them. Just
because a lot of times
somebody might not even like their grandkids.
A lot of elderly people that live on their own, or not even just elderly people in general, they would go days without speaking to another soul. That's why sometimes when an elderly person will be talking to me, and they'll stop and they'll strike up a conversation over anything. And I get that straight away. I'm like, oh, they haven't spoken to anyone for a while, so I will have a little conversation with them, because if that just makes their day a little better in some way, then you know what I mean, I'm here for it. If they like it, I love it. Do you know what I mean? So I'll have a chat. Do you know what I mean? And there's always that saying, be careful, because you might be turning away one of God's angels. So so if you know that there's somebody that's alone and hasn't got anybody, just take a minute to check on them.
No, definitely.
Okay. Bless them. Anyway, is there anything else you'd like to add, Madonna? Okay. Well, I think we'll leave it here for this week. As always, I'm thanking you so much for joining us. We appreciate you so much. We really, really do. We really do. I love it when I see the views go up and that. So thank you so much. And as always, we're sending an abundance of love and light. Until our next episode, it's goodbye from me, Michelle, and goodbye from Skylar.
Bye.
Bye.